here with Barry Jones. He's a Welsh boxer, former WBO super featherweight champion of the world. Barry turned pro when he was just 18 in 1992, after a very good amateur career. He was trained by British welterweight champion Pat Thomas. Barry won his first 13 fights, then took draw against David Morris. Then in 1996, Barry fought for IBF Intercontinental title, and he won on points with Peter Judson. After that, Barry won WBO super featherweight title, defeating Wilson Palacios in 1997. And finally, we're coming to the last fight of Barry's career. He was defending his WBO title against Marcelino Freitas in 2000. That was very exciting bout. You dropped your opponent in the first round, but eventually lost the fight, being knocked down 6 times. Barry, will you tell us more about that fight? You know, about how do you recall that fight?
Very painful memories, to be honest. It was weird because I took them. It was my only loss as a professional boxer, so it was hard to take. But it was also my worst moment of my life, and also the proudest moment of my life, because with all the fights I've had, I think I had 116 amateur fights, or a lot of amateur fights, considering I only turned pro at 18, and 20 pro fights. I've never been on the floor in my life. Amateur, pro, sparring. I'm not saying I had a great chin, but I could maybe ride punches somehow. I've never been on the floor. So being hit on the floor for the first time in my life and doing the right things, I was proud of that. I didn't panic. I took a knee, I took a rest, and I got up and I continued. So that was I was quite proud of the way I took my lumps, took my beating, and done the right things. I tried to fight, I just wasn't good enough, and I didn't mind that. I was distraught for a long time after obviously losing, and never boxing again after that. But you find your level, and a lot of boxers now talk about different levels, and I just went above my level, and I came second best. So I accepted that quite easily in the end, especially on the night of the fight. In the interview after the fight, the Sky commentator said, "Oh, you know, what went wrong?" And I just said I tried my best and I wasn't good enough. And that's, to be honest, what happens with quite a lot of fighters who box for world titles and move up. Sometimes the level's just a little bit, the gap's just too much. Even though I'd won a world title, this Marcelino Freitas, who at the time was pound for pound the biggest puncher in the world, and a good fighter, and kept the title for a long time, was way too good for me. Not just in power, speed, movement, and he had too much for me. And that was pretty much what I remember, being losing because I was second best, and I can accept that. Losing to a guy you think you can beat is a horrible feeling, and something that makes you bitter.
But you give it all.
I give my all. I just wasn't good enough. You know, I couldn't punch. That was my biggest problem. I had a lot of skill, fast hands, good footwork, and I was fit, but I had no power. Not even a little bit. You've seen me training now, and I got a bit of power now.
There's loads of power left in you, Barry.
It came about 15 years too late, but but yeah, so I didn't have no power, and that's just one of those things. But you work with what you have, and I work with what I have, which is fast hands and commitment. That's all I had, and it got me to a world title, but didn't get me past Marcelino Freitas, I'm afraid.